Internets, can't live with them, can't live without them. Okay. Hello. We should be fine now. It was so distracting. I was like trying to read you my freaking dream story, and it started. Is it gonna do it again? Oh my gosh. It's still doing it though. So I might need to restart again. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys. I'm gonna restart one more time, and then I'm gonna come back, and then it's gonna be fine. Okay? Unless it decides to work, but it's being kind of iffy right now. I was in the middle of my dream story. I was joking how I have Xfinity and know the struggles of having crappy Wi-Fi. Yep, trust me, I get it too. I have Xfinity too. I did hardwire my computer, so hopefully that fixes it. Also, let's not forget it's Mercury retrograde right now, okay? So maybe that's part. Let's blame it on that, shall we? Let's blame it on that. Unless we should just see if it works. Maybe we could just see if it works and just say, you know, screw it, whatever. Hello everyone. I think we'll just go with it. We'll just see what happens. Anyway, was it even like choppy for you guys? It was super choppy on my end, and it was very distracting, and I could not concentrate, and then YouTube just ended it. Yep, it messes with technology, which I have actually noticed a lot. If this is a game of Clue, I believe Juno did it. I think he did too. He's looking pretty sus over there. That's probably... Yep. He probably did it. Oh my god. What's going on here? Yeah, what's up, guys? It did just quit. It did. Okay, how is it now though? Before I continue, so sorry for the delay, for the issues, whatever you want to call that. I just want to make sure it's like normal before I continue. Okay, I'm just gonna get through my dream because I really did want to share you guys with you. So I'm just gonna run through it. I know that I covered like half of it. But basically, I was taking a trip to Vancouver alone, and I had to climb up this huge mountainside to get there. So you couldn't just drive to Vancouver, Washington. You had to take... What's up, Trip? How's it going? The Matrix is glitching. It's true. You had to literally scale the side of a mountain to get to Washington. You couldn't drive there. You literally had to like be a mountain goat and like scale the side of this like mountain. Don't ask me, it's my dreams, it's my subconscious mind, who knows what's going on in there. And there's lots of other people going too. And we didn't have ropes or anything, we were just hoping for the best. We were just like, okay, let's just do it and hope that we don't fall to our death. So that, it was a bit dangerous, but lots of people were doing it, so I wasn't alone. When I got there, and it seemed like Washington was a room, like it wasn't like an actual city, like it took us to this room. When I got there, everyone was partying and dancing. It was like this crazy party. Everyone had dreads, everyone had hair and pants, everyone was having a great time. Let's see. I remember seeing really interesting and unique people. I remember going to the grocery store with some friends. For some reason, we had to put a pizza box on the ground, light it on fire, and put a pan on it to cook food while we were in the grocery store. We were literally in the aisle, and we just put a pizza box on the ground, and then we just lit it on fire. And we're cooking food that way, I guess. That's just how we did it. I don't know why none of this triggered anything in me. I'm not sure why I thought all of this was normal, but I seemed to just go with it in the moment. There was an area in the grocery store where there was tons of dirt on the ground. So it was like tons of sand in this area of the grocery store. And I remember digging with my hands like a dog, like digging into the dirt. And I found some really rare crystals, apparently, and rare spotted dinosaur eggs that were different colors and worth at least $1 million. And I remember there was like, they were like white dinosaur eggs. One was blue spotted, one was yellow spotted, one was green spotted, and one was red spotted. And I remember there being, oh, okay. Well, I didn't write this down apparently, but I remember telling somebody, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just found these dinosaur eggs. They're worth over $1 million each. Like, I remember I was like really, really excited about that. Then I remember there being a really obnoxious group of people in the store, and I swore at them and told them off. I remember buying so much food at the store. When we went outside, there was a hovercraft we used as a car. Someone else had it, but it blew up. Don't know what's going on. I remember the dream feeling very adventurous. That's all I remember. The part that stuck out to me though was me going to somewhere that I desire, so Vancouver, Washington, and then me finding treasure there. Isn't that kind of interesting? And I don't know if you guys have studied like astrocartography, but basically it's basically your astrology on like the world map. So what places, what areas of the world will activate certain things within you. And apparently in Washington, that's where my love and my finances is activated, right? And in Utah, there's nothing there. Like maybe at one point, but there's nothing here at this point. So it makes sense. And it's so funny that like I go to Washington and that's where I find treasure apparently. And I just remember being super ecstatic that I found these dinosaur eggs, and that was super, 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 super symbolic to me when I woke up. And that was such an interesting dream. I'm actually not sure why I didn't get why that didn't trigger lucidity in me, right? But it was very, very odd. But I wanted to share that with you guys because, and feel free to share your dreams. I would love if you guys brought your dream journal sometime. Maybe. Well, I do have something coming, but I was going to say I would love to have like a dream circle with you guys. And that is something that I'm going to be creating. I'm going to have basically a private Facebook group that is going to be called the Night School Community. And there's going to be basically like master classes in there. I'll be going live in there, and then we'll also have monthly dream circles on Zoom. So if you guys are interested in that, that will be coming soon. I'm super, 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 super excited for that. Oh my gosh. But I just wanted to share that dream with you. And again, I'm sorry for the internet being silly. It looks like it's fixed now. Can all of you still hear me? Jason, let me go back to your question. I do remember what you were saying. So tips on inducing hypnagogic imagery. Now, I would also practice this outside of going to sleep. You can induce hypnagogic imagery outside of your sleeping cycle as well. You don't have to just be like going to bed to induce hypnagogic imagery. You can actually induce hypnagogic imagery in any state of consciousness. So I'll give you guys some tips for that as well. I found this dream journal app called Capture, which is designed for lucid dreaming. Ooh, I use one called Awoken, if you've heard of that. I'm not sure if you have an iPhone or a Samsung. I think it's just for Android. But they also have, I don't have an iPhone, so I can't remember the exact name. I think it's called like Lucidity or something. Philbo, how's it going? But I use the app Awoken. I don't really need it anymore, but if you struggle with like reality checks, then you can set alarms on that, and it will just pop up on your phone and say, hey, are you dreaming? And then you obviously do a reality check, and then you can select, no, I'm not dreaming. Okay, then I think there's an app called Lucidity. Again, I haven't really used it because I do not have an iPhone, but I heard that that one's similar to Awoken, but I am not 100% sure on that. As far as tips on inducing hypnagogic imagery. So this is something that I would definitely recommend. Marcus. Don't play right now. We just had a huge issue. I want to make sure it's not like bugging out. Should I just leave that other... I'm sure it's on my channel, that little clip of the live thing we did there that just cut out. Should I just leave that on there? Whatever. Whatever. We don't care. We don't care in this house. We're just gonna leave it. People will figure it out that we had issues. But anyway, okay, so good to see you, Marcus. Good to see you. Okay, I did forget that I do have this Ethernet cable, so we should not have any issue. I will remember next time to not trust my Wi-Fi. I will remember. I will remember. And this is like a very long cord. It's like 100 feet. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true at all, but it seems like it. Don't hold me to that. But anyway, to induce hypnagogic imagery, some of you are probably familiar with liminal dreaming. It's basically inducing dreamy states in the hypnagogic state. So the hypnagogic state is like when you enter a really deep state when you're going into sleep. But again, you don't have to be going to sleep to do this. You can do this in deep meditation or just laying on the couch. Hypnopompia or hypnopompic imagery happens as you're coming out of sleep. So have you ever turned off your alarm? You're kind of just sitting in bed, you're like kind of dreaming, you're having like these weird dreamy thoughts, but you're not like 100% dreaming, you know what I'm saying? That's hypnopompia or the hypnopompic state, and it's basically the same thing as the hypnagogic state, except one's happening before you go to sleep and then one is happening as you're coming out of sleep. So the more we use these states and the more comfortable we can get with these states, not only can we induce liminal dreams, so really dreamy states outside of our REM, but it will also help us to stay in these states for longer and anchor them to induce lucid dreams. So what I'd recommend doing anytime that you can, I sometimes do this on my day off, like on the weekends is kind of like Saturday specifically is like my self-care day. So that's kind of where I do whatever I want. I'll meditate. I've been taking like these really amazing baths and just like listening to Alan Watts and just staying in there for like 2 hours. Saturday, yeah, I had a glass of wine. I was listening to Alan Watts. I was in a bubble bath and it was great. Okay. So sometimes that's my time to induce hypnagogic imagery and just to like zone out. So I'd recommend anytime that you have a moment, maybe just like focusing on keeping your mind aware, but staying really, really, really relaxed, and then seeing what colors kind of come out of that. Oh, really? Yeah, anytime like it's kind of like the edges of sleep. So the edges of sleep, either when you're like falling into sleep or when you're coming out of sleep. But the longer that we can linger in those stages, we're training our mind to stay conscious in those stages for longer. And that will really, really, really serve you with lucid dreaming. Because if you ever wake up to do a technique, say you wake up in the middle of the night or, yeah, I guess that's a good example, right? Like wake back to bed. Instead of falling asleep, you're surfing almost on this dreamy state of consciousness without fully being asleep, if that makes sense. And this will also help if you guys have ever wanted to like induce sleep paralysis consciously. You can do that by using the hypnagogic state, and you can basically just stay in that for a very long time. It does take some practice because obviously if your eyes are closed, your brain isn't picking up tons of information in your environment, and it's easy to kind of get a little bit groggy and kind of lose consciousness. But the more we practice, especially when we're pretty awake, that will help us when we're doing techniques. So I do this during the day. I'll just be sitting on the couch sometimes. I'll close my eyes and I'll start to think about specific things, maybe a forest, a door, like something very specific, and I'll watch the colors change under my closed eyes, and then I'll actually start to see these very specific images. So that's also how we can practice inducing lucid dreams, is by using the hypnagogic state to almost manifest specific images. So try that next time you're in the hypnagogic or you're in the hypnopompic state. Try to see if you can think about a specific object, a specific place, and see if you can actually start to feel that or actually physically see that in front of you. Like I'm dreaming but thinking at the same time. Exactly, yeah. You're not sure if you're dreaming or if you're thinking. It's kind of a mix of both. Have you ever been like, it's almost time to get out of bed and you're starting to think things but they don't make any sense? You know? Like once you wake up you realize that what you were thinking really didn't make any sense at all. That's the hypnagogic or the hypnopompic state since you're waking up out of sleep. Your Lucid videos are awesome. Keep making more. Oh, thank you, Trip. I do have a really cool one coming out on Wednesday. I didn't know if today was Tuesday or not, so I had to think about it. Yes, Wednesday is when it is coming out. Yeah, the 16th. I'm actually really excited for that. It's like almost 30 minutes. I hope you guys like it. I was experiencing those dream states earlier during meditation. All I remember is some dude getting eaten by an octopus. Isn't that the weirdest thing? That's really normal for those states. And and you can't tell if you're like thinking something or just dreaming it. It's like a very blurred line. Yep, that is the hypnagogic state and that is the hypnopompia for sure. Do you recommend blindfolds during hypnagogic imagery? So it is a lot easier because then like colors from the outside world are not interfering, like say the sunlight. Like when you close your eyes in a very bright room, you see red, right? And orange. That's because the sun's coming in through your eyes. But when you have like a blindfold on, it's completely black and that helps you see when the hypnagogy starts. So it's not required, but I definitely recommend practicing with like blindfolds on if you can, or like a sleeping mask, or at least in a dark room, but it's not necessary. Sometimes I'll just lay on the couch and like, you know, induce it that way, it's a lot stronger and more vivid if I have like blindfolds on or something. And if you don't have a sleeping mask, I've used my hair before. Like if I'm laying on the couch and when I didn't have a sleeping mask, I would use my hair and I created a blindfold out of it. You don't have to be that. You don't have to do that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you can use anything. I don't know if you guys also know those like cloth headbands. You know what I'm saying? I use those sometimes for sleeping masks because they're really, really comfortable. And it stays on my eyes. I do have sleeping masks, but some of them have the Velcro on the back and it's not very comfortable for me sometimes, so I will just use those cloth like headbands. Yeah, I've used long sleeve shirts, like I've had a shirt on the bed and just had like the sleeve over my eyes. Like you can use anything. I'm telling you, you can. Resourceful, exactly. See, you can use anything. So yeah, just use something if you want to. Yeah, you don't have to try to use your hair. It works pretty well, you know. I could probably like tie it on, but now that I have sleeping mask, I do not need to use that. But you know, I've used it before. Yeah. Just use whatever works for you. You don't even need anything, but I've noticed that it really helps be able to tell like when it starts, because it's completely black and then all of a sudden you're starting to see some colors, you're starting to see some things, you're like, oh, okay, it's starting. It's like a movie. You're like, oh, okay, it's starting, okay. And you just get really, really excited. Maybe that's just me. Who knows? But you know, this is what I like to do in my downtime. I like to watch paranormal stuff. I do have some like paranormal equipment sometimes that I like to play with. I like to read, paint, and then like induce weird states of consciousness. So yeah, there's some of my my hobbies. Do you think a tremendous increase in attentiveness in waking life can increase lucidity in the dream? For sure. That's literally exactly how it works. So when we increase our awareness in waking life, and keep in mind, I've talked about this before, but anyone who wasn't here when I've talked about this, your habits that you have during the day, you carry into your dreams. Think about it. Most people assume that they're awake, right? They assume that they're awake all the time. We're like, duh, of course I'm awake. I don't need to check. Of course I'm awake, right? And now, because we always assume that we're awake, when we're sleeping, we always assume that we're awake when we're dreaming. And then we wake up and we're like, how did I not realize I was dreaming? That was so weird. And it's because we've trained our brain to always assume that we're awake. So we carry that habit over into the dream. So if you want to correct that, you need to start becoming more aware in waking life and being more critical of what happens around you. So this is something that I call the weird technique. Super, 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 super simple. But anytime something weird or odd happens in waking life, ask yourself if you're dreaming. I've seen the weirdest, most random things, like the most recent one, actually. So the other day, I was walking my dog just outside, and I heard this like horse neigh really loud. And I'm at an apartment complex, right? Like, there's golf courses on both sides. There shouldn't really be a horse around. So I like heard this horse and I was like, am I dreaming? So that caused me to do a reality check. And then I saw this pure white horse in the field of the golf course. And I had to like double take, and I was like, wait, am I dreaming? So I checked again. And then me and Juno went over to hang out with the horse. I was awake. The horse was very friendly. Juno made best friends with the horse. It was a great time. Everything was fine and dandy, but it was very odd, right? The horse, why was there a horse in the golf course? Just minding its own business, pure white too. I was like, that's a freaking unicorn. That is a unicorn. I must be dreaming, and if I'm not dreaming, this is even better because there's literally a unicorn right in front of me. So that's a great example of the weird technique. Anything that stands out to you in waking life that catches your attention, I'd recommend checking if you're dreaming. Just asking yourself if you're dreaming, asking, how do I know? Course horse! Yes! Didn't even think of that. How do I know that I'm awake right now? Like, how can I prove to myself that I am actually awake? So I do my reality check, and then I just go through a couple different reality checks, right? But you also want to practice seeing like the glitch in the matrix. So say that you're looking at like bark on a tree when you're outside. Can you look away and then look back and it will be the exact same? Like, can you look at the lines on your hands and then look away and then look back and it's the exact same? Because the dream is going to have a hard time replicating what you just saw, if that makes sense. So in the dream, if you like go to do a reality check and you check your hand and you look away and look back, your hand's probably going to be different the second time. And that's why we want to create the habit when we are awake first. That way we'll be able to tell when we are dreaming, when we see the glitch in the matrix, if that makes sense. Hey Nicole, hey Lucy, how's it going? Seems like I dream better when I'm happy. Absolutely, absolutely. Because that's why we have nightmares when we're stressed, right? So it makes sense that you would have like happy dreams when you're subconsciously feeling happy as well. I'm more likely to become lucid in a violent dream, like if I'm being chased or shot at in the dream. Most times I'd become lucid, then the feeling of fear just consumes me and all I want to do is get the hell out of the dream. So there is something that I would definitely recommend doing. First of all, nightmares are amazing for helping us get lucid because it creates more awareness, right? When you're scared, when you feel fear, you automatically feel more aware. So if you do get lucid in a nightmare, that is perfect, but do not leave the nightmare. Because number one, the dream is sending you fear to help you become aware because there's obviously something that we need to face. When we are getting chased in the dream, that is a symbolic representation of something that we are not facing, something that we're disowning, denying, or trying not to think about. Even if it's the smallest thing, when we have nightmares, there's clearly something subconscious that has stressed us out. So what you can do, and keep in mind you're 100% safe in the dream, when you become lucid in the nightmare, to basically integrate the nightmare, you don't want to run. Even if you just stand in the dream, you guys have heard this story, but I had a nightmare and I was running from this character. I was like on the street and I spontaneously got lucid and I realized I was running. So I stopped. I was like, what am I running from? Got lucid, stopped running. And there was like this shadow figure or whatever chasing me, and I just was standing there, and he stopped right in front of me, and I said, "Why are you chasing me?" And he's like, "I don't know, it's your dream, right?" Because it's not him that's mad at me. It's not me and this shadow person don't have beef with each other, right? So there's some sort of underlying message in the dream. So I started asking this shadow character, well, what does this dream represent? What could be going on? And when I'm talking to the shadow character, I'm talking to my subconscious mind. So my subconscious mind is going to be able to deliver the message. And it was about my childhood trauma that I haven't been willing to face, but I was still talking to a family member that was involved with that childhood trauma. And so it's almost like I was internally stressed out. It was almost like my inner child felt unsafe talking to this family member, right? And so I started to have nightmares because subconsciously there was something that I haven't integrated. But this shadow person literally gave me all the information, turned out to be a super chill dude. We went out, we had some tea, we went out to go get tea. We ended up hugging at the end of our conversation, and he burst into a ball of light, and I never had that nightmare again. So as you can see, it's really, really amazing when we can actually try to understand the message within the nightmare, because everything that we experience in the dream is us, right? There's nothing attacking us. There's nothing trying to hurt us. We become aware in nightmares because our dream is trying to get our attention. The subconscious is trying to get our attention because in dreams, in REM sleep, that's where we integrate trauma, right? So in deep sleep, that's healing for the body. In REM sleep, that's the time to heal the mind. And to heal the mind, we have to be willing to integrate trauma. This is why if you wake someone up from their REM dreaming sleep, they're more likely to enter a state of psychosis because they weren't able to integrate the trauma. So that's why we have nightmares during REM, is because that's the brain's time to purge emotions, integrate trauma, and basically cleanse itself. So again, the deep sleep is cleansing the body. REM sleep, dreaming sleep, is cleansing the mind. So that's why we experience nightmares sometimes. And so if you're lucky enough to get lucid in the nightmare, you can actually communicate with the nightmare directly, figure out the direct cause of the nightmare, and completely integrate it in that one dream. This is why they found that lucid dreaming is the most powerful, effective form for PTSD nightmares, and specifically veterans, but really anybody that has PTSD nightmares can use lucid dreaming to totally integrate that trauma. Because once we know that we are dreaming, we now know that we're safe. Say that you used to fight in Iraq when you were back in the war, right? You have a regular dream of Iraq, so your physical body starts sweating in bed, your heart rate starts to increase, and you feel unsafe. You feel like you're back in Iraq, you're in war. So that's creating a lot of stress on the body. But as soon as you realize, I'm not in Iraq, I'm dreaming that I'm back in Iraq, all of a sudden the body calms down because it knows that it's not real. And now you feel safe, and now you can actually integrate the trauma that way, and take yourself out of it. Now you're not a part of the dream, you're watching the dream because you know it's not real, if that makes sense. They say I have PTSD, but I don't really believe in that stuff. All the PTSD is like trauma that wasn't integrated, you know? Like even the labels that they have for like ADHD and ADD, I don't really believe in that. So I totally understand what you're saying. Like we like to put labels on things to try to describe things, but I really don't think these things necessarily need labels. I guess it's just a way for us to describe the experiences that people are having. So I do agree. PTSD, I feel like, is just something that triggers a trauma that hasn't been healed or integrated, right? This could be from the war, this could be a childhood trauma, maybe something triggered you in school or really embarrassed you, and now that gave you trauma and it puts you in anxiety. You don't necessarily have PTSD, but you have a trauma that hasn't been integrated yet, right? So I totally agree with you. I think we're just trying to like, society in general is trying to give meaning to everything and try to label every single thing, but I don't really think a lot of these things need labels, right? So I do agree, but anything, even if you don't feel like you have any trauma or anything to work through, if you get lucid, ask your brain what is ready to be integrated. Ask your brain or subconscious what you need to see that you haven't been willing to face. Ask how your health is. I mean, you're literally talking to consciousness itself basically within the lucid dream. So it's a very, very, very powerful time to be able to learn, to grow, to expand, and to heal in multiple different ways. So I do appreciate you sharing that dream, because I feel like a lot of people need to hear it. And I had a ton of nightmares when I was little, right? That's because my childhood was seriously messed up, right? And as an adult, I had to work on integrating all of that trauma. When we're a kid, even still, sometimes when we have a nightmare, we just try not to fall back asleep, right? And what does that say to the nightmare? We didn't integrate it. We woke up, so the nightmare's like, okay, see you next week. See you soon. But if we want to fully integrate the nightmare and completely get rid of our nightmares, we have to be willing to listen. Even though it can be a little uncomfortable, get lucid, know you're 100% safe, stay where you are. Awareness is most of the work. All you have to do is become aware. And in Tibetan Buddhism, when it comes to integrating trauma, they say the seeing is the doing, which means instead of running away in the nightmare, just observing what is happening as it is happening is enough sometimes to completely integrate the trauma. It just wants to be seen. The nightmare is a part of you that wants to be seen. Every single thing you experience in the nightmare is you, right? So it's just a part of you that wants to be seen. Remember that. I had tons of lucid dreams when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. I didn't know I could control it, right? Yeah, that's when I had a lot of lucid dreams and some out-of-body experiences. And there were weird things that triggered it, right? Like when I was little, as soon as I would go try to use the bathroom in my lucid dream, I'd realize I'm dreaming and I would wake up, right? So we naturally have these triggers when we're young. We naturally have these lucidity triggers. So it's all about creating that same awareness now, even though we're not children anymore. And especially if you're having like reoccurring nightmares, there's definitely something that wants to be seen. So be willing to communicate with the nightmare, and you don't have to be lucid. You can write down the nightmare and ask, what emotions was I feeling in this dream, and how are these emotions similar to something I've been feeling in waking life? Say you feel a specific emotion in your dream. In what situation or with what people do I feel that exact emotion? And that will kind of help you tie back what the dream is trying to tell you or what the nightmare is trying to tell you. These nightmares are the worst, but I always told you can't focus. That's why I had so much attachment in my life. Oh, because you can't focus? See, we're programmed to believe those things, but any skill can be learned. Even if we didn't learn it when we were younger. Have you ever felt like you were going to fall off your bed, but it was just the beginning of a lucid dream? You were supposed to let yourself fall. So yeah, basically, what's kind of happening in there? Well, there's two different things. Sometimes this can happen in the hypnagogic state, and this is called the myoclonic jerk, and that's something that has been with us through the evolutionary process. Back when we used to sleep in trees, when we would fall into the hypnagogic state, our body would send us a jolt to make sure that we were safe and we didn't fall out of trees. So when you experience that twitch in bed as you're falling asleep, it's actually the myoclonic jerk. It's your body's evolutionary process trying to make sure that you don't fall out of the tree, even though we're obviously, at least most of us, do not sleep in trees. I do sometimes get them as well when I am going into sleep paralysis or when I'm entering a dream as well. Yeah, you don't want to fight it. You want to just let yourself fall. You're completely safe, but it can feel extremely, extremely real. So sometimes if it's your first time experiencing it, you'll wake up and you'll be like, oh my God, I literally felt like I was falling. Absolutely. I've turned nightmares into fun adventures that way. Exactly. Sleep paralysis, out-of-body experiences, and lucid dreams are all thought-responsive states, which means it responds to our thoughts, our emotions, and our expectations. What do you expect to happen in the dream? If you're like, oh, this is kind of scary, someone's going to start chasing me. You're literally writing the script as you talk in the dream. So remember that. Whatever you are affirming to yourself, whether it's in an out-of-body experience, a lucid dream, or a sleep paralysis experience, you are literally writing the script as you speak. So keep that in mind, right? And if you do go into a dream and it starts off as a scary experience, know that your thoughts can change it. When I was little, I would have like these weird sleep paralysis experiences and kind of like out-of-body experiences. It was like a weird mixture, but I'd put like funny hats on them and stuff, like things that I would see. I would imagine them making me laugh when I was scared, and then it really would make me laugh. Hey Spencer, how's it going? Thanks, Silverback. I appreciate you. That makes me so happy. How do you start lucid dreaming? Well, that's definitely I could talk about that for a long time, but let's just say the 3 Ds. Dream journal, dream recall, dream signs. Make sure you have a dream journal. Use it every day to build your dream recall, and then look for your dream signs in your dream journal. So things you dream about a lot, things that are weird in your dreams, and start to become aware of them in your dream journal. The more we become aware of these weird things in our dream journal, the more likely we will become aware of them when we're actually dreaming of them, like as we're dreaming of them. So if you're new to lucid dreaming, remember the 3 Ds: dream journal, dream signs, dream journal, dream recall, dream signs. Yeah, if you count your fingers during the day, that's great, because you're basically doing a reality check. You're stopping, you're coming off autopilot, and you're asking yourself, how do I know that I'm awake right now? Let me check if I'm awake right now. And just from doing that, you're going to start to build that habit when you are dreaming. And a lot of people say, well, how does that translate to our dreams? Like, if I'm checking if I'm dreaming when awake, how is that going to help me check if I'm dreaming when I'm dreaming? Because you're building up the habit. If you stop at like on the dot, say like you do a reality check at 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 p.m., then when you're dreaming and you check the clock and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, you're gonna be like, oh, time to do a reality check habitually. Because in the dream, you don't know you're dreaming until you check. So we want to create the habit during the day, and that's what will help us spontaneously do it in the dream. So first, when you do reality checks, you're going to be dreaming that you did the reality check, but as soon as you realize you're dreaming, then your consciousness switches on and you have control. Does that make sense? So it starts off as you dreaming of doing a reality check, but then once you realize that you're dreaming, then your prefrontal cortex switches on and now you have full control. So that's kind of how it works. I'm trying to get into sleep paralysis, but it's kind of hard. Do you have any advice? Actually, that literally happened the other day on the couch. So this is what happened. Maybe it will help you. I love to nap. I nap all the time. I can sleep for any amount of time. I just love to sleep. I really like to sleep on the couch sometimes. It's very comfortable. I like to watch YouTube. All my books are over there. I just love my living room. So it was really late. I took a bath. I take baths on Saturdays, and then I just listen to like Alan Watts in the bath. And then I get out of the bath, and then I just like put on my like hoodie sweater or my hoodie blanket thing, and I just chill on the couch. I read. I just wanted to kind of like close my eyes, you know? So I was closing my eyes, and I remember entering sleep paralysis, and it was so intense. I was almost fighting it for some reason, which isn't like me. Like, I was like fighting. I remember like fighting to keep my eyes open, which I never do ever. So I don't know, maybe I was like unconsciously doing that or something. But I remember also the key is if you can't access REM, it's about dipping in and out of sleep over and over and over and over and over. That will get you into sleep paralysis, because that's what was happening. It was kind of hot in the house, so I would like fall asleep, and then I would like kind of wake up because it's kind of hot, and like I would move a little bit, go back to sleep. I would kind of like wake up, adjust, go back to sleep, and that's what triggered the sleep paralysis, because I was like in between awake and asleep. Oh yeah, I literally have this hoodie. that's literally made out of a blanket material, and it's super huge, and it has pockets and a hood, and it's literally like a soft fuzzy blanket, but it's a wearable blanket. Yeah, it's really amazing. So that's kind of how I induce sleep paralysis a lot of the time. Hello, Forrest, how are you? Is by being on the edge of awake and asleep. And maybe you can try this. Maybe leave it a little bit hot in your room or something, and just like allow yourself to like dip in and out of sleep. You don't have to do it that way, but that's how it spontaneously happened for me. I didn't plan to get lucid, but I remember dreaming. Like, I'll dream on the couch and then I'll wake up, and then I would like adjust, and I remember I got sleep paralysis because I like had my hand propped up here and I fell asleep, and my eyes were open kind of, and I felt sleep paralysis. First I hear this like high-pitched noise, and then I feel this like buzzing feeling in my body. I was like, yep, it's coming. Sleep paralysis is coming. Okay, just gonna, but it was so intense for some reason, subconsciously. I was fighting it. I don't know why. If I just relaxed, I don't know why I didn't relax, because usually when I'm in sleep paralysis, I'm like, okay, don't even move. This is exciting. Let's not mess it up. So I don't know like what was going on in my mind. But it's all about hovering between awake and asleep, especially if you're in dreaming sleep. Like if you wake up directly out of a dream, try going back to sleep, but staying conscious as long as you can, right? Or maybe lay in a position that you don't easily fall asleep in. That way, if you're laying there for long enough, your body's going to assume that you're sleeping. It's like her eyes are closed, she hasn't moved for like 15 minutes, she's for sure asleep, but you're like, haha, I'm tricking my brain to hack. I'm tricking my body to hack myself into sleep paralysis. I don't know how to explain that, but you get what I mean. So you just want to almost practice falling asleep a little bit consciously. That's really the key to sleep paralysis. Sometimes I can't tell the difference between real life and a dream, and that's when I count my fingers. Perfect. Keep doing that. And then anytime something happens, it's like weird or odd, kind of like my horse story that I just told, then check if you're dreaming that way. My throat still hurts. I've almost drank this whole thing. In my sleep paralysis today, everything suddenly became silent. What to do next? You want to imagine movement. You either want to imagine very strong movement, like being on a roller coaster, being on a hammock, or like doing the dishes, like whatever. You just want to imagine movement that is not actually happening. For me, I like to either imagine I'm in a hammock, and then you'll actually start to feel like you're in a hammock, and you can have an out-of-body experience that way. Or I'll imagine that I'm like at the beach or something, and I'll really just imagine laying in like the warm sand, and then I'll imagine hearing the ocean, and then I'll like just try to create that feeling and like smell the salty air. You know, you just want to create something so strongly that your brain starts to think that that's actually happening. Does that make sense? So that could be like a visual, that could be an actual feeling, a sensation, that could be a smell. Like you can even imagine the smell of cookies and keep imagining that very, very strongly, and that would probably trigger a lucid dream about cookies. So you just want to create a reality through your closed eyes, and eventually your brain will assume that's real. So Misa's here! How are you? We had lots of technical difficulties earlier, so I'm glad that's not happening anymore. Now I know not to trust my Wi-Fi. We're good now. I'm always going to use this very long Ethernet cable. Exactly, cookies! You came in at the perfect time. Any crystal recommendations for protection during astral projection? I got hematite, lapis lazuli, black agate. So obsidian for sure. Obsidian is one of my favorite ones. Pretty much any black stone can be used for protection, and I truly believe that really anything can also be used for protection if you have that intention. Like, you could even have a smudge stick next to your bed and you intend that it's going to protect you during out-of-body experiences. But we got to understand what we're protecting ourselves from, because that's a good topic in itself. There is nothing that can hurt you, right? The only thing that we need to protect ourselves from really is feeling fear. Because our fear is what makes us feel like there's something we need to be protected from. If you can break out of the illusion of fear, again, fear, F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. Black tourmaline, yes, 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 yes. I also have that. Definitely recommend that. And that also protects from just like lower frequency thoughts. So a lot of the time when people have out-of-body experiences, they start to assume the worst, right? Now this goes back to thought responsive state. They start to assume the worst. Oh, this is kind of a dark room. I bet there's something in here that's gonna chase me. Why would you say that? Because now you've created a thought form of that existing. So really, what we're protecting ourselves from is us thinking these lower frequency thoughts that create those lower frequency experiences. That's all we're really protecting ourselves from. And that's why you should also make sure that you're in a positive state of mind when you're having an out-of-body experience. There was one time, and it was fine. It wasn't a bad experience. I was just so pissed off because I was trying. This was like probably 4 years ago. I was so pissed off because I was like trying to induce a lucid dream and out-of-body experience over and over, and I got pissed off. I was like, you know what? I'm laying down, I'm having an out-of-body experience or a lucid dream, and I'm not getting up until I do. How about that, universe? I'm gonna lay here until I have an experience because I've tried too hard and too long to not have one. And I just like demanded it. And I ended up having one, and then I woke up, I was like, oh, thank you, sorry. But I didn't have a negative experience. But you want to keep in mind like how you're feeling. Because in a lucid dream, you're accessing your mind, like you're in the world of your mind. And in the out-of-body experience, it's the same freaking thing. Forrest, thank you so much for the 50 bucks. Oh my god. Thank you. You're so great. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Can we get shout outs for Forrest in the chat, you guys? Thank you. Oh my gosh. What am I gonna do with you? Virtual hugs. As always, I give out those virtual hugs anytime you guys do this. Oh my god, thank you. Okay, let me catch up. But keep in mind, that's what we're protecting ourselves from, is ourself. That's literally what we're doing. Thanks again, Forrest. I really appreciate it. I felt so, yeah, Zomies, yes. Dude, if you guys saw my stones, I have so many. I've had to like spread them out all around the house. I'm like, okay, I have so many now. Where do I put them? I felt so traumatized and was okay, wait. During my scariest sleep paralysis experience, this guy in a white hoodie was just sitting at the end of my bed just watching me. He was from the dark web and was about to kill me on a live video. I felt so traumatized and was crying about it in the morning. How can I deal with it if this ever happens again? So, you want to use your mind to create a hilarious experience. And I know it can be scary, but our lower frequency thoughts, they feed off of fear. There's nothing that's gonna hurt you. I guarantee you it was because you were half dreaming and it was a thought form, and the fear fed that thought or that hallucination. So what I would do, and I know it can be hard, but you have to generate emotions in your body that you want to actually experience in your experience. So it's like law of attraction. We have to feel how we want to feel before we have what will make us feel that way. Does that make sense? So it's the same way with that experience. Remember in Harry Potter where they have, I forgot what it's called. What's it called? Where it's like their worst fear manifested, right? Like, wasn't it Ron that was like super scared of spiders? And then he did a spell to like put skates on the spiders, and the spider like was like couldn't even walk. It's literally that. It's literally that. We want to turn it into a hilarious experience in any way that we can, and it will change the experience. And it really just takes us being a little bit trolly. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if there's something scary in your experience, you just gotta troll it a little bit. Right? And that energy, you think everything's gonna try screwing with you? You're just gonna troll the hell out of it. You think that white hoodie guy has anything on you? No. No. No, 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 no. I'm gonna tell you guys, I kind of had one, like, kind of scary, sleep paralysis experience. So I was home alone. I was in bed. I was, like, rolled over on one side. I got into sleep paralysis. All of a sudden, I hear my bedroom door open. I swear someone, like, broke into my house. I was like, what the hell? Obviously, I don't open my eyes. I get cold chills thinking about it because it's kind of scary. So trust me, I get it. I remember hearing my bedroom door open. Oh, I have chills. And I hear footsteps, like, on the carpet. I feel someone legit sit on the bed next to me. And I'm turned this way, so they're towards my back, and I feel someone freaking sit on the bed, right? Oh, so my heart's like, oh my God. If someone broke into the house, they wouldn't just do this, right? That's how real it feels, so trust me, I get it. All of a sudden, this freaking person, whoever the hell it was, lays down and puts their arm around me. So now I'm being cuddled by some random thing, like, or person. I have no idea. I don't know if it's chance. I don't know if it's, well, Juno couldn't do that. I mean, I guess he could, but I was like, holy shit. And it was so intense, I actually had to, like, open my eyes and check, and nothing was there. So I should have just, like, played in my head and just, like, grabbed him, just, like, body slam him, like, just make a funny joke out of it. Or imagine that it was a puppy or something. I don't know. Sometimes it just takes a sense of humor and some creativity, right? Like, you just have to. I still get chills because I'm like, trust me. Forrest Gump was my idea for. Shout out to Forrest. Run, Forrest, run. Oh my God, Forrest, I didn't even see that. I'm just getting caught up on my dog, Forrest Gump. Guys, oh my. Real women in nature. The other day I was in the bathroom and I could have sworn I heard someone say something in my ear, and I screamed like a little girl loud as hell. I automatically assume it is a spirit, and I'm like, bro, what's up? How's it on the other side? You wanna use some of my spirit tools to communicate? Like, I'm just like, I'm into all that. Like, yesterday, a cup legit moved in front of me, and I was hyped as hell. I was so excited. I was like, yes, make yourself at home. Like, there's the couch. Like, I'll visit you in the out-of-body experience state later. How's it going, spirit friend? We're chill. Like, I'm all about it. So, but I get it. I've had this thing. Tell me if you guys can relate. I've had this thing when I'm little, and I'm pretty sure some of you will be able to relate, but the shower curtains have always freaked me the hell out. Like, I always, when I go into the bathroom, I have to, and it used to be way worse. Sometimes I still do it as an adult, I'm not gonna lie. But when you go in the bathroom, sometimes you have to open the shower curtain to make sure no one's in there. And then also when you're showering, especially when you're washing your face and stuff and you can't tell if someone's there, you have to open the shower curtain and make sure no one's there. You have to, like, peek out there. Is that just me? Do you guys do that? Have you done that as a little kid? Yeah. I just have to. Like, the shower curtain is a mysterious portal. I used to open my shower curtains every time I used the bathroom, right? And so I just started keeping them open because it's just like, I'm terrified of someone peeking out. Like, I'm terrified. That's the one thing, like, I still do it too. Yeah, I'm like terrified of someone like, so I'm not gonna lie, I definitely still do that. It definitely was worse when I was little, like religiously. As soon as I go in there, I have to check. And you just have this feeling, right? You just have this gut feeling like, you better check if someone's in the bathroom. You're like, no, it's fine, I'm just in the shower. You better check, Haylee. And so you're like, okay, just to like make sure, since I'm getting that intuitive nudge, I'll check. I'm glad I'm not alone, okay? Yes! When you have soap in your eye. I always feel like when I'm washing my face, even still sometimes, there's gonna be someone peeking behind me, like in the shower curtain. So then I try to like wash my face as fast as possible, and then I have to like turn around and look, but there's still like soap in my eyes. I'm like, oh my god, I can't see. I can't check if there's someone in the bathroom. Ain't no spirits paying no bills to be moving cups in my house. Dude, I'll pay them to move a cup in my house. I will pay them to move a cup. I'm not gonna lie. I've had a few little seances in my life where I'm like, all right, I got my spirit box going. I got my dowsing rods going. If anyone's here, please feel free to like move stuff around. My casa is your casa. Let's hang out, you know? Like, I'll pay them to move something in my house. Spirit dishwashers, please. Dude, hell yeah. That's the worst chore. I hate doing the dishes with a passion. I'll do everything else in the house. I tell Chance, I'll do everything else. You just do the dishes. I've got everything else. Just not the dishes. But maybe I will have to try it, because those who listen to Alan Watts, he's like, everything in life is play. There's no such thing as work unless we think it's work. And you see a big pile of dishes and you automatically assume, ugh, I have to do all those dishes, right? I have to do all of those dishes. But in the moment, you will always only be doing one dish. You will never have to do all those dishes in the moment. Every moment is one dish. And he says to make it like a dance, like life can be a dance, you know? So maybe I'll have to, you know, do a good old retry. Do you believe in demons or unfriendly spirits? So I actually did make a video about this with Jax that I haven't edited yet. I believe in different frequencies of consciousness. I don't believe in necessarily like a demon. I believe that there are different frequencies of consciousness, right? And you can feel it. Like when you feel angry or depressed, it feels heavier. So I do believe in different frequencies of consciousness. I just feel like people throw the word demon around a lot. Like, say it's all based off perception and like what we believe, right? So I watched a video the other day and it actually made me laugh because this guy was filming and it was some video and his door moved in front of him. He's like, okay guys, the door just moved. I'm pretty sure it's a demon. What if it was your grandma saying hi and you just called her a demon? Like, I see a door move in my house and I'm hyped as hell. I'm like, hell yeah, it's a friend. What's up, dude? So it's all based off our own perception, and what you believe in, you will probably experience, and what you don't believe in, you won't experience, because our thoughts create our reality. That's why tons of people have their own realities, right? Based off their own experiences. My mom and her sisters played with a Ouija board and a cup started spinning on the table and then it fell and broke. I have a Ouija board, I'm not gonna lie, but I use it for business stuff. Like, I will ask business questions, like, and I am so open, like, and I don't have any fears with that, so I never experience anything that scares me. So it's all, do what makes you comfortable, always. I will never tell you guys, just do it. Stop being a baby. Like, whatever it is, always make sure that you're comfortable, but know that your beliefs and how you feel about it is gonna kind of create your experience, right? So I'm super into like spirit communication. I've been astral projecting my whole life, right? So it's not anything outside of what I've been doing. It's just a part of me, and it's just a part of who I am, and it's always been that way. I remember seeing my first like spirit when I was 9 years old, and it was my grandfather who passed away before I was born, and I was able to describe exactly what he was wearing, his name, what he used to do, the truck he used to drive to my mom, and she would be able to, she verified all that information, and he died before I was even born. Right? So this has just been a huge part of my life. So I'm very comfortable with this stuff. I have a spirit box. I have like different paranormal tools. I do have a Ouija board, but it's like, it holds no power over me. It's just part of me. It's just part of my hobbies, you know? Yeah, the way you explain it actually makes me think differently. Yeah, exactly. And of course, if we're like really nervous to do something, or we set up this kind of like intense expectation about something, it's probably gonna play out a little bit in our experiences, you know? But it's all about doing what makes you feel comfortable and really looking at your beliefs, right? But I personally don't believe in like demon. It doesn't make sense to like label something like that, because it's all different frequencies of consciousness. It's all energies, right? We can't put a label on something. So it wouldn't make sense for me personally to be like, oh, there's no good and bad, there's just frequencies of consciousness, oh, and demons. Like, it just doesn't fit in my reality, you know? I do. Yeah, but it was actually very underwhelming because I'm so open about it, right? Because I'm so open, like, nothing really happens with the Ouija board with me. Like, maybe I'm just a little impatient. I have used it by myself, but, like, I'm so comfortable and just like, okay, guys, like, but you gotta also keep in mind the Ouija board is literally like any other spirit communication. I think it does make people a little bit nervous because it's not like talking through a spirit box or like a pendulum. You can actually spell out words. So I think that's what makes people nervous, because it's such a forward way to communicate, right? But when people are like, oh, you shouldn't mess with a Ouija board, you don't know who you're communicating with. Same with a pendulum. Same with dowsing rods, same with EVP, same with EMF, same with spirit box. Like, it's all the same. It's all just communicating with the other side, right? And we also have to keep in mind there's something called the ideomotor effect, which that happens with Ouija boards too, and also like pendulums. Subconsciously, if we want a specific answer, our subconscious will make micro movements to give us those answers. So I do believe that we can use these tools to communicate with the other side, but I also do believe that our subconscious can sometimes manipulate it for us to get out specific answers, if that makes sense. They have encyclopedia of demons and demonology. Absolutely. And I know, so I forgot their name, but I know people who have studied demonology, but think about tons of different things that people study that doesn't resonate with other people, right? Like, for me, from experiencing out-of-body experiences my entire life and having a very strong connection with the spirit realm, it doesn't make sense to me. And I can't label something like that. Like, what if your grandma was just trying to come through and hang out and be like, hey, what's up? And you're like, oh, it's a demon. She's like, dude, I just came here to chill, you know? Like, if whatever you believe you'll experience, this is literally the epitome of your thoughts create your reality. Everyone will have a different reality because we have different ways of seeing things and we have different beliefs. So always do what makes you comfortable. I will never tell you that like you're doing something wrong. You know, I know that you won't judge me for something that I'm drawn to, and I will never judge you for what you choose to do or not do, you know? So it's all about your personal choice. Sometimes when I try to ask for project or in deep meditation, I get white flashes of light. So that is kind of like a hypnagogic imagery. So that's when you're falling into a deep state of consciousness, almost like hypnosis. And so your brain will start to create images and different flashes of color and dream scenes. So the flashes of light probably relate to that, because I get that too sometimes. Can you communicate with any spirit, even someone you didn't know personally? Absolutely. And I have been able to channel since I was really little. Like, I've done this for friends, but it doesn't I can't really trigger it. It happens naturally. I'll almost feel like I'm getting anxiety, but it's not anxiety. It's like a really intense amount of energy. And then I'll get like different pictures of images in my head. I'll be like, I'm seeing this and this. Do you know someone who did that? Like my friend, I channeled her grandma that crossed over and I didn't even know. But I was able to explain their memories with each other, right? Like what they used to do, what they used to make together, her grandma's favorite kind of music, or what her grandma used to collect, like little things like that. And it's almost like I'm tuning into her thoughts, like her grandmother's thoughts and memories. So it's kind of hard to explain, but I do have mediumship abilities and I am able to channel different things. And I think it's very fascinating. And I think that there's so much more than we can see with our physical eyes. I mean, this is only 1% of our experience, which we can only see visible light. There's 99% more information we can't physically see. And I'm just naturally super fascinated about that. So if you walked in my house right now, you'd see all kinds of weird stuff. I love like antiques. I love, if I could own like haunted objects, I would have them everywhere. I just think it's so cool. I just get so excited and it's fun. You know, I just like those kinds of things. And I really want to stay, for those of you, have you guys heard of the Stanley Hotel in Colorado? That's a haunted hotel that was based off The Shining. And I would love to stay there. You would have to see if you'd want to hang out with me. I'd bring my Ouija board. If I had a haunted doll, I'd bring her. I'd bring all my stuff. I'd be like, okay, we're gonna have a little like party. Some people won't stay at that hotel. I would probably stay at that hotel by myself. Like that's how and I would live stream it. I've actually talked about doing that. Would you guys be interested in that? I would love to stay at a haunted hotel and live stream it for you guys and just show you guys what I like to do. Like I am kind of a weird person with the hobbies that I have. Like I just like this stuff and I think it would be interesting to show you guys. And I know some people won't be into it and that's totally fine. We don't have to all share the same hobbies, right? But this is just one thing that I'm really interested in. So I do plan to do that. I am going to Washington next month. So I might live stream there if the internet's good. And then I will let you guys know when I go. I really do plan to go to Colorado within the next year or so. And I will live stream it for you guys. I promise you I will. Exactly. See, I'm glad you guys, because I know some people have this like stigma about Ouija boards, but it's so misunderstood. Like I promise you, it really, really is. And Ouija board is actually the oldest tool for spirit communication. And it didn't start getting a bad rep until the movie The Exorcist came out, which of course they're going to create this programming that, oh, you're talking to the devil or this and this and this. But you got to understand what these movies are programming us to believe about things that we don't understand. And so that's one thing that I pride myself on this channel is I'm not telling you what to believe, but I want to give you more information so you can make your own educated choice, if you will, right? Because we fear things that we don't understand. And so I just want to provide you information so you can make your own choice of what feels good to you and what doesn't feel good to you, right? Winchester Mansion, all of it, the Queen Mary, the like everything, right? All of it, the Roosevelt Hotel, the Cecil Hotel, I'll stay at all of it. I know Sam and Colby, I watched them too. Yeah, they did stay at the Stanley Hotel, and their experience was see, I just love that stuff. I just love it. It just is like, makes me really excited. What's sketchy, Zomis? Staying at the Stanley Hotel? Or what part? My hobbies? Is that what you're talking about? Is that sketchy? What are your thoughts on alchemizing energy for your benefit? Turning anger or sadness into more positive feelings? Absolutely. That's alchemy. That's what we do. When we take, maybe say we're feeling anger and we fuel it towards our creativity, that is alchemizing that energy and turning it into something that's actually beneficial that we can use in our life. So absolutely. Yeah, it's all different frequencies of consciousness for sure, but I totally understand what you, especially like, it all depends as well, like how you kind of grew up with that, right? I had a very open, even my family was super open with that stuff, and I've had a lot of friends cross over, and I've had a lot of family members cross over, and so I've hung out with them in the astral state, and so it's just another plane of consciousness to me, you know? And so I guess I'm just really comfortable with it, and I know that like I'm protected, like I truly do know that I'm protected from anything that doesn't serve me, and I know how to like cast out energy that doesn't serve me. Like, so I'm just like, I just am very comfortable with it, I guess is the thing. So always do, Zamis, like always do what you're comfortable with. I never want you guys to do something that doesn't feel good, right? I just want to provide more information on this channel so you guys can kind of be like, interesting. I would never tell you guys to believe something that you didn't want to believe or do something that you didn't want to do. Not ever. Do I believe Ghost Adventures is real? It's very fabricated. I mean, I'm sure some of it is real, but the way I don't trust television stuff. I like watching like vlogs on YouTube of people's experiences and stuff like that, because there's definitely editing and they definitely hype things up and change things. So I used to watch that stuff when I was little, but for someone that really does seek like real content on that kind of stuff, especially astral projecting my entire life and communicating with spirit in my own ways, like I don't want to watch something that's very like, I don't know, I don't like TV very much. So I'm sure some of it's real, but I'm sure some of it is not real. And the guy in Ghost Adventures just is an ass, to be honest. Like, you can't go into like a haunted place and then just try to torment whatever is there. I think that's an ass move. I'm like, hey, what's up? It's your girl. Like, just want to hang out and chill. Like, maybe I'm too comfortable. Who knows? But that's just me, and that's just what makes me feel good. How do you recommend I communicate with my father? Well, I do believe that you can communicate with them even in the waking state, even just talking out loud. Like, my grandfather recently passed away, and me just talking out loud, I can feel him with me. I'll invite him to come to my dreams. If you know how to induce out-of-body experiences, I use that state to connect with family members, and just really calling on them and just feeling them. You can communicate with them in so many different ways. It's just kind of what feels best to you, I would say. I have so many questions because I love talking about this stuff. I'm glad you guys are open to it. I haven't really talked about it a lot on my channel because I know that a lot of people are not open to it. I just don't want that to change your perception of who I am, but even if it does, I can't control that, right? I'm still the same me. I just have a lot of different hobbies outside of my YouTube channel too, you know? And I love that you guys are willing to have an open conversation about it, because I know some of this, you know, topic can make people uncomfortable, and I never want to make you guys uncomfortable, but I also don't want to hide who I am from my channel. And it's kind of expected. Like, I've been inducing out-of-body experiences my entire life. Like, of course I would probably be fascinated with all of this stuff, right? Especially all of the crazy experiences that happened when I was a child. I think it's just my curious spirit that has really drawn me into all of this and so much more. I'm just a very open person, and I'm always the kind of person that wants to experience things myself, so I've always done it that way. I think that's what's kind of brought down the fear aspect, because I know a lot of people that have a stigma about Ouija boards have never used one, right? It's all about what they've heard from people, right? And so I'm the kind of person that I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try it out and see if I have the same experience. I'm just that kind of person. And then when I don't, like, when I first used the Ouija board, I was like, oh, that was a little bit underwhelming, but okay, that's fine. This just seems like a board. Okay, cool. Right? So everyone's going to have their own experiences, but I'm just very open, and I just like to experience things myself. Every time I realize I'm in a dreamy state, my ears itch instantly. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. Maybe you're still going through the rollover signal, like as soon as you get into the dream, but that's kind of interesting. I need someone to meditate with me between 3 and 4 a.m. I need help manifesting happiness in my life. Happiness, well, first of all, look at what's happening in your life that maybe isn't making you happy and how you can start to generate more happiness just in your self-care practices. Do you wear barefoot shoes, or is that just me? I don't wear any shoes as long as I can handle it. I do not wear shoes unless I absolutely have to wear shoes. That's just how I am. Like, so I'm barefoot most of the time. Yeah. Even on walks and hikes, unless I'm going somewhere where I have to wear shoes. I watch �ＯhMyGosh TV. I used to. I'm sure his channel is great, but just the clickbaity stuff, like he would be like, oh my gosh, this crazy thing happened, you know, in his thumbnail, and then it would just be like a door closing, and I was like, that happens in my own house. That is not thrilling. That's not what I expected. So, you know, I'm not into like the clickbaity stuff. Maybe he doesn't do that anymore, but that's my experience. Yeah, absolutely. Again, I'm glad you guys are open to it. I'm glad you guys are asking questions. Again, I never want you to, right? I hate clickbaiters, right? Absolutely. I never want to, like, try to convince you to believe something that you don't believe. That's not why that's not what this channel is. So I'm glad that you guys can have an open conversation with me about it, because it's just something that I've literally been into since literally I was born. Like, I don't remember not being fascinated with dreams, with out-of-body experiences, with like things that we can't really see. It's just part of, especially when you're a child and you have all these crazy experiences happen to you, you're like, whoa, what was that? Let me try to understand that, you know? So that's kind of where I'm coming from with all of this stuff. So always do what feels good to you. Always do good. I would never pressure you to believe in anything. And if you decide to check out of this conversation, that's totally fine too. I still love and appreciate you. Do you go out barefoot to be grounded with nature by walking on the grass? Every single day. Yep. Every day. I do it too sometimes while walking my dogs, and grass feels so good. And so I know, right? That's my favorite. Yep, that's my favorite. I do it every single day. Guys, it's been so good talking to you. I love how many people showed up just to hang out. Thank you so much, Team Universe. I really appreciate it. I'm super glad that I have a really amazing community that's very open and receptive and loving. You guys are so amazing. I love chatting with you. I just know these realms are not filled with peace, comfort, and safety. I'm very protective over my energy, I suppose. My spirit guides me away from a lot of paranormal things, and that's totally cool, Zombies. That's absolutely totally fine. I totally respect that, and I totally understand, especially if you had any experiences that kind of scared you. I totally get it, my friend. Absolutely. I totally understand if I haven't said it enough. Absolutely. And you know, most of my like scary experiences have been in like nightmares. I haven't really experienced anything with that kind of stuff to make me, I just think it's cool. I don't know. Like, especially after studying quantum physics, it's just like, whoa, how does the universe work? How is this possible? You know, it's just coming from my mind of like loving to learn. I just love to learn. I love to explore. I love the mysteries. I love stepping into things that people don't fully understand. I love to learn. I crave it. It is a hunger for me. So I'm very glad that you guys pick up what I'm putting down. I just love the mysteries of life. I just love stepping into the unknown, and I feel very comfortable doing that. So I will always encourage you, Zomies, to do what feels good. Always, and know that your opinions and your experiences and your beliefs are totally respected here. Absolutely. As with everybody else, for sure. And I've been calling on my guides too. So our guides always got our back, especially when there's something we don't want to experience, or there is something we do want to experience. We have a whole spirit team that's ready to take care of us and make us feel good. So always follow that. You leaving, Marcus? I was gonna leave in a sec, but I didn't know if you were leaving. But thank you for being here. Do you have any tips for beginner astral projectors? I would absolutely check out the videos on my channel, because I have a ton of those. But I would say start tracking your REM stage and start trying to trick your body into thinking you're asleep. If you wake up in the middle of the night, try to meditate yourself back into sleep and just see how long you can stay conscious. And also when you're in meditation, see if you can create some movement. Like imagine you're on a hammock, or imagine you're on a roller coaster, or imagine you're swimming in the ocean, and your brain will start to think that that's what's actually happening. And you'll actually start to feel like it's actually happening. And that's one of my favorite ways to have out-of-body experiences. Thank you, Forrest. Thank you, Twee. I love you guys. I love hanging out with you and the rest of these awesome people. Jason, right? This community is so fun, and I love you guys so much. 𝑁𝒂𝒐𝒏𝒄𝒔 is a YouTube channel. They interview people on dreams. Good channel. Oh, sweet. We'll have to check them out. Study quantum language. Ooh. No worries, Eric. No worries. That is literally me all the time, so no worries at all. Just before I AP, it feels harder to breathe. Is that normal? Yes, and that's actually a good sign, because when we are falling asleep and when we are asleep, we don't need to take in as much air. And when we become conscious of that, we could feel like we're suffocating, but it's just what the body does when we're asleep. Our temperature drops and we don't feel like we can breathe very well, but it's just because we don't need to take in as much air. I believe anything is possible, Chris. Anything in the world. That is literally my mind. I believe, especially because everyone literally creates their own reality through their thoughts. Like, it all depends on what you believe, and if you believe it, I do believe that it is real in your reality. That's how open my beliefs are, just wide open. Oh, okay, thanks, Travis. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. My guide helped me astral project through my dream. Ooh, yeah, I've experienced that too. That's so cool. Marcus, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate you. Now I have to wait another week. We will be streaming 3 times a week soon. Oh, really, Silver? Maybe there's some deja vu. Maybe you've tapped into an alternate reality. This is better than church. All religion did was put limitations on my life before I discovered spirituality. I agree. I had to go through that process as well when I was little. Being forced to go to church, and I actually asked too many questions in church and they kicked me out when I was 8. I didn't understand. I was just trying to understand. So I get it. But all beliefs, everything is for the individual, right? So I'll never talk down to a specific belief, but for me it wasn't didn't work out. I was just curious, and then they're like, oh my god, get that crazy woman out of here. It was LDS church. I'm in Utah, which is the most LDS state possible ever. Not for long though. I will be going to Washington very, very soon. I read about the silver cord that connects your astral body to your physical body. What are your thoughts on it? The silver cord's kind of a myth. It was great to be here. Bless you all. May peace be upon you. Zombies, we love you so much. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. So good to see you again. I hope I see you next week as well. So the silver cord is kind of like a myth. You can't ever get lost from your body. The cord can never be severed. It's almost like a metaphor, really. So when you astral project, you probably won't see a cord because it's almost like a metaphor. But yeah, you can't ever get lost or anything like that from your body. Okay, guys, I love you so much. I do. I've been working out every day, guys. I know, and I need to do it today still. So I'm gonna go do that. But I love you guys so much. For those of you if this is your first time here, we stream Mondays every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's 10:30 right here now, so you can kind of gauge what time I'm in. But 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Mondays. I will start streaming more as well. But as of right now, just Mondays are for sure. See you later, guys. Sources within you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Today's Monday. Yep, so I stream every single Monday, and again, I will be adding more streams in the future, but as of right now, it is for sure Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. This is such a great conversation. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you all for joining, and again, if this is your first time here, Welcome to the Dream Fam. We're happy to have you. We're happy to have you. I don't keep track of the days either, Travis, especially working from home. I forget what day it is a lot of the time. Thanks again, Forrest, for the donation. I really, really, really appreciate you. I appreciate everybody in here. Thanks for showing up. I hope you guys have an amazing night. Thank you for all the responses, Haley. You'll always be awesome. You too. I love you all so much. So much. Thank you guys for joining. Travis. Oh my god. I love you guys. Join the group if you haven't. If you're on Facebook, Haley Lynn's Lucid Dream Team, it'll also be in the description. Join the email list if you haven't. Join the community on Facebook if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't already and you like the content I create. My dog Casey loves you too. I love your dog Casey. I love all your guys' dogs. Giving them all hugs. I love you guys. Thank you for everything, for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. And as always, you know that I'm sending you endless love and endless lucidity. Bye, guys.